Okay, we'll continue a little bit more with the namings um, for this chapter, and then I would like to move on to calculating the formula mass because I don't want this to be 4 hours video. So name each ion. As you remember, when you have a metal plus one, remember it's a cation. You just write the name that is provided to you in the periodic table with the cesium ion. This is arsenic ion. This is something more interesting. It's called, so you have to know the name of this part. It's called sulfate. And then if you have a hydrogen in the front, it's called hydrogen sulfate. It is also can be called bisulfate ion. Also another name. Here's another example of transition metal. This is your 10. You write 10. In parentheses, you write the charge plus 2. So in Roman numbers, it's 2 ion. Remember how transition metals can have a 4 or 2. You have to specify which exactly 10 ion it is that has a charge plus 2 or charge plus 4. That's why we write it. Next question. Name the ionic compound formed by each pair of ions. So this type of question asks you to do more work, and they think that you know how to do it. So first of all, you need to create a formula, right, between these two ions, and then you have to name it. If you did your work and you practice creating these formulas, it will be so much easier for you to name it. Sometimes you can skip this step and just name it right away. So this type of example has sodium and bromide, right? So this is the formula, and you just write the two names, sodium and not bromine, but bromide. The N changes to bromide. Over here we have magnesium and again bromide ion. So you just skip the ions, magnesium and bromide, and you just compare them together, write them together, and you write magnesium bromide, not bromine, bromide. Over here we have magnesium ion and sulfide ion, not sulfur. Sulfur changes to sulfide. Non-metals change their ending. So not sulfur, but sulfide, magnesium sulfide. Next one is potassium and chloride. Non-metals change their endings to ide, not chlorine, chloride. And this one is going to be magnesium chloride. I just created formulas for you, so maybe you can practice doing that as well on your own. When you have two ions, what would be the formula for it? Crisscross, magnesium chloride. Next question is asking you, name the ionic compounds formed by each pair of ions. Same type of a question we did before. Remember sodium and nitrogen, when they combine together, this is sodium ion and this is nitride ion. You write just the names of the first words. So sodium nitride, magnesium nitride, aluminum sulfide. Just need a lot of practice. Okay, same type of question. I'm gonna skip it. You can do it, you can practice and you can do it by yourself. We'll do something else. It's called transition metals over here. And transition metals can have stock name and common systems name. Okay, I like stock name, some like common systems. So if you write a stock name, you have to make sure that it has the charge of the transition metal. Your book has a table with all the transition metals, and you can look it up and see for each transition metal there is a common systems name like ferric, ferrous, auric, aurous, for gold. Okay, if you're writing just stock name, you have to make sure that you have included the charges in parentheses for each one of them. And don't forget about the second part, bromide, bromide, sulfide, sulfide. Same thing. Same type of question about chromium. That can be also chromic oxide, the chromium with a charge +3, I'm sorry, and the chromium with a charge +2, we write it in parentheses, can be also called chromos. Lead, plumbus. Okay, next question is going to be about calculating the formula mass. Very easy. You'll need a calculator for doing this type of an example. All of these masses are given to you in a periodic table. You don't have to memorize it. This type of information always will be given to you. What you need to do for this particular question is to write the formula, which we did before. Practice writing the formulas. You know the charges. You can write the formula. And then look up the mass for each element that is presented to you, and you add them up, all of them. So over here you have sodium that has a 23 units. I rounded up to 2 significant digits. You can leave 4 significant digits. You can write the numbers after the decimal. I made it easier for myself just to show you how it's going to look. First, you need to write the formula, and then you need to add up all of your elements. Okay, so this example has two bromines, right? So 1 magnesium and 2 bromines. So the mass for magnesium is 24 units, and bromine has 80 for each atom. You have to multiply by 2, because this is the time when you'll have to multiply by 2. You have to include each one of them. So the final answer is 184. This example is easy. You look up the mass for magnesium, you look up the mass for sulfur, and you add them up and you get 56. Okay, let's do something more complicated. For example, like over here, you have 3 magnesiums and you have 2 nitrogens. Make sure to multiply the mass of 1 magnesium by 3 and mass of 1 nitrogen by 2 in order to get the mass of this particular chemical formula. So your answer is going to be, so you calculate 3 by 24 units, because this is the mass, atomic mass of magnesium, plus 2 multiplied by 14 units. This is the atomic mass of nitrogen, and you get the answer, 100 units. Let's do something even more complicated. Something that has more than one element. Okay. Over here you have 4 different elements, right? You have to look up each one of them and you have to add them up, all of them. So nitrogen has a mass of 14. There are 4 hydrogens. Each one of them has a mass of 1. There's 1 nitrogen that has a mass of 14. And there are 3 oxygens that have a mass of 16. Okay? Make sure to multiply first, right? Multiplication is first, and then you add them up all together. Or you can write like this, 14 plus 1, 1, 1, 1, plus 14, plus 16, 16, 16. Okay, you can write up 16 3 times. Okay, let me show you an example that has parentheses. When you have something in parentheses and there's 3 on the bottom of these parentheses, it means that you have to multiply each element by 3. So aluminum is only 1. That's why we write 27 units. This is the atomic mass for aluminum. But there's 3 hydrogens, right? Over here is 3 multiplied by 1. There are 3 sulfurs, because it's over here, 3. And there's going to be 12 oxygens. 4 multiplied by 3 is 12. So 12 by 16. Same type of example. There's only 1 magnesium, but there's something in parentheses. It's called bisulfate. So you have to multiply each of these elements by 2. 2 hydrogens, 2 sulfurs, and 8 oxygens. 4 by 8, 4 by 2 is 8. Okay. Same type of thing, same type of example. You have your cobalt, that it's only 1, and its mass is 59. But then you have a bicarbonate in parentheses. It has H, it has C, it has O, hydrogen, carbon, oxygen. So you have to multiply each one of them by 2. 2 hydrogens, 2 carbons, and 6 oxygens. And then you add up all of them and you get your final mass. Practice.